Hi, and welcome to Symbol's first office hours and community meeting. Today's date is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. If you're watching this recording from home, we encourage you to come and join us live. As a reminder, these community meetings are public and recorded and posted to YouTube at the conclusion of this meeting. We meet every month on the fourth Wednesday. That's at 11 a.m. Pacific. If that time doesn't work for you, based on where you're at, we have a monthly meeting just after this one that occurs at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, which happens to be Thursday, January 26th at 9 a.m. India Standard Time. This meeting is for you, the community, and so you're encouraged to bring up any discussion topics, ideas, anything you might need help with relating to Symbl, the platform, or processing conversation. If you're unable to attend any of these times, you can always reach out to us on Slack or in the Google group. You can post questions and stuff there. If you have any discussion topics, definitely encourage you to bring them to the meeting here. Add them to the bottom of the agenda, which is right here for open discussion topics. And we'll definitely get to them towards the end of the meeting. Yeah, so for this first meeting, I just would think it would be good to get kind of like level set and just introduce myself. My name is David Von Thenen. I work at Symbl. I'm a developer advocate here. And one of the first things that I want to kind of kick off with this first set of office hours and this community meeting is that we have a community repo. You can see in the announcements here. If you go ahead and open this up here, the address is just github.com/Symbl.ai/community. You can find the repo here. This repo is intended to be updated constantly and continuously. Think of it more as a kind of like a living document where anyone can get started with engaging with me, with Symbl, using the platform, understanding conversation, what's happening in the conversation, understanding space, all of that fun stuff. So I'm kind of going to go over the repo here today. And if anyone has any questions, you can just definitely reach out to me on Slack or, like I said, in the Google group. So the very first thing, the README is kind of this focus point of this repo. It has basically how you can reach us for these community meetings. This is the very first thing here. The first thing you want to do is join the Google group. That'll get you access to the calendar, so you can add all these invites for the Pacific and India Standard Time meetings. One that's happening right now is obviously Pacific. It's the fourth Wednesday at 11. You can see the Zoom link there. If you need to convert to your time zone, go ahead and do that. And if you happen to click this link right here where it says community meeting and office hours agenda notes, that actually opens up this document that I had opened at the beginning of this meeting. For the Asia Pacific time, the friendly time zone for that meeting, it's right here. It's usually the fourth Thursday, but it's always going to be preceding, or it's always going to be following the Americas meeting. So if it happens to be on the fourth Wednesday for Americas, it'll be happen just after that. You can convert to your time zone, but it's 9 a.m. India Standard Time, usually the fourth Thursday. Depending on how the calendar thing works out, you can obviously click the meeting and agenda notes there, and it'll take you back to meeting and agenda. We're just going to have them running all in line, so you can see both the Americas and the Asia Pacific agenda notes. If anyone kind of can cross-pollinate between the two and see what other people are interested in. So that's why we're keeping it in one consolidated set of agenda notes. Just as a reminder, we do actually have a governance document here that you want to check out. You can click the link here. It'll open up the governance for the community here. The idea is just to have a formal set of rules so that we can engage with each other in a meaningful way, and that's not confusing. And these rules are definitely going to be updated as we moving forward and as this thing evolves. But yes, you can find the governance doc here. I took a first stab at it, and I think it's pretty complete in terms of like how to resolve conflict and process proposals and all that fun stuff. The next thing I would like to point out, and if everyone who's going to join going forward and in the future to read the code of conduct, you can find that right here. And if you open up the code of conduct by clicking the link here, you can find out, basically its standards and what kind of like our pledge to the community and how we intend to all treat each other. The two things that pop up into my mind. First is obviously, treat others how you want to be treated. So treat everyone with respect and with kindness. And the other one is, it's kind of, I'm opening this link here, but it's true. It's kind of very simple. Bill and Ted's, just be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other.
And so, yeah, you can read more of the code of conduct here. Yeah, it's basically, treat everyone with respect. This is an open forum for the community to talk about anything and everything. There's no judgment here. Yeah, it's just kind of to share ideas and thoughts and get help for people that need help with questions regarding the platform, APIs, and all that other fun stuff. So this is what kind of where we get into the meat of this repo. And it's basically, it's where to get started. This is intended for a place for anyone, whether you're a product owner, product manager, an engineer, like working and coding up stuff to integrate conversation into your application. This is a great place to land in order to figure out like what you need to do to understand how to do conversation analysis and all that fun stuff. I kind of like broke them down into levels 1 through 4. Level 1 is, hey, I'm a newbie. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. I've posted some links to videos where they're easy to consume, to give you like a fresh introduction into how to process conversation and do conversation understanding, and then introduction to the Symbl platform. Level 2 is kind of like, hey, I know the landscape. I kind of understand like what conversation analytics is. I posted a series of blogs and also some code. A repo, a link to a repo so you can see some code in action, which I just kind of want to like just showcase right here, give a little demonstration of it. So like in this level 2, I'm familiar with conversation landscape, show me some code. There's some pretty cool blogs that I wrote to kind of like get you started. Actually, they were the blogs that I wrote because I had no idea what I was doing when I got into the conversation intelligence space. And so it was kind of like my journey of like how I got here to where I'm at today. And in doing this, I kind of ended up taking over this repo, which is, you can find at github.com, Symbl.ai, and Symbl.ai, and the getting started samples is basically has a easy place where you can consume individual APIs and see the code that it takes in order to invoke those APIs. So you can see like the kind of the list of API calls that are available in this repo, action items, analytics, entities, follow-ups, all that fun stuff, summaries, obviously transcription, topics, trackers. Like goes into like how to manage APIs to manage the tracker management, all that fun stuff. Gives you through the install process and then actually how to run the examples in this repo. So just to maybe kind of give you a very brief thing for this. Let's see here if we can share my terminal here. So yeah, I'm in the getting started samples repo. Kind of like the entry point into this repo is, this run example script, which if you just run it without any parameters, it'll give you the help on how to actually run this. So if you wanted to do like, run an asynchronous kind of analytics for a particular MP3 file or conversation contained within an MP3 file, so you can go run example async upload, and these are, when you type that, these are the available API, like sample API calls that you can make, like sample applications, like very, very minimal main style applications where it's just, connect to the Symbl server, and then run, run action items grab the action items within the conversation within this MP3 file. And so if you wanted to run one of these, let's just do the summary. So as an example, you do run example async upload, and you would run summary. And this by default will take a MP3 file that's at the root of the repo. You can overload this and provide your own MP3 file by adding an additional parameter right here where it says file name and then the path to the file. So if you drop your MP3 file at the root of the repo, it'll use that file instead of doing the default one that's in this repo. So as you can see, the summary API calls completed here. You can see the conversation and job ID, and then the summary for this particular MP3 file, this conversation that's contained within it. And it's basically just a tech support call. You can definitely clone the repo and run this exact example. Obviously, you need a Symbl account, so sign up on the Symbl platform. It's free. You don't need a credit card or anything. And you can just run this example based on the setup instructions. And then if you wanted to do something cool, like do the run examples with streaming, so you can do run example sh streaming, enable all, which is basically enable all of the streaming analytics for conversation in this particular main style application. So it's pretty simple. It's going to listen on the microphone input. And so you can see that it's picking up this conversation as I'm talking, and it's going to run analytics on it. So yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty cool. And yeah, this is definitely a great place to get started. It's all in Node.js, so it's pretty easy to consume and understand. So let me share my screen back to my Chrome browser here. So, and if you get into like level 3, I have a project that I had created, which is just an open virtual assistant. Think of it as an open Alexa, where you can, create your own Alexa using like a Raspberry Pi, or even just having it live on your laptop. It's kind of an example of a sizable project where it's using the Symbl APIs. And if you wanted to get to advanced topics and advanced code and stuff, there's a couple of blogs that I have recently published that's going into an enterprise reference implementation for conversation aggregation. It's pretty cool. You can go ahead and check out the repos here. It's this last link here, and then the two blogs that are above it. They're pretty cool read. Yeah, and so this section will be updated quite frequently with more stuff. This is just kind of like the basics that I threw together really quickly. And the next section kind of goes into how to contribute. So if you're looking to contribute anything to any of the repos, or even file issues and all that fun stuff, and open pull requests for documentation fixes or changes, all of those things are welcome. You can take a look at our contributor guide, which I'm going to click right here. And it just kind of gives you prerequisites and stuff like that you want to be aware of. Like, you need a GitHub account, you need a Symbl platform account, and all that fun stuff. These documents are works in progress, but I think a good majority of what's needed is there. And if you're looking to actually contribute code, there's a developer guide here, which kind of goes into the detail of, if I'm kind of fairly newish to like maybe GitHub and all that stuff, there's a document here, which is the developer's guide, that kind of goes into like how you'd actually go about contributing to like any of the projects here, like maybe the SDK or any of those fun things. And if you're really kind of new to like coding in general, like with GitHub and how that workflow works, there's a document here like how to kind of get going with GitHub, and like how to fork your project, clone your fork, and all that fun stuff. And all the way to working up to like making code changes, submitting a pull request to a repo, and then having it be available for review. So yeah, this is pretty kind of like a great list of things that you'd want to know if you're going to interact with any of the repos under the Symbl org here. And another big one is if there's intended to be a big significant change, then the request is going to be that there's a design proposal template that's going to be filled out. So these are, oops, which I need to fix that link, but thankfully we can just go here and you can see the template there. This is basically the design proposal template. It's basically give me the TLDR, what the background is, goals, non-goals, high-level design, include any diagrams and pictures and then all that fun stuff. It's mainly this design proposal thing is meant for large bodies of work. So like significant changes, significant process changes, any of that kind of stuff. You would want to go through this proposal template. You would open a PR against this repo, follow the instructions in the proposal template, and we can set the design proposal and look at and set it for review. This next section here is to go over training materials. This is all to do. This is something that's very, very new, obviously, because it's not there. But the intent is that I'm going to create a bunch of cool training videos that's going to tackle each of the topics relevant to Symbl and even to the conversation space in general. The idea is I'm going to have a video for, like, as you can see here, where there's a list of them. The book one kind of will cover asynchronous API related stuff. So like doing transcription, redaction, all that fun stuff, entities, trackers, bookmarks. But the idea is that take one of these topics, have a video where the first half will be very high level focused so that like any particular like product manager, product owner, someone in marketing can get a really easy to digest view of like what that topic particular is. So whether it's a introduction into trackers and like what it is and like what it means for you and like how you might use it, what are the use cases behind it, all those kind of fun things. And then the second half of the video might even break them up into two videos, but the second half would be, hey, like we're going to actually look at code in a repo and see how this stuff actually works. So it's going to get very detailed, very code oriented. The idea is to give developers an easy way to like understand like how to use the APIs, like what the return values are, what the inputs are, and kind of like go from there. And then the second book is going to go into real-time streaming, and then like the third book in this training tutorial series goes into like a deep dive where it gets into very, very technical topics, which I think is going to be very, very cool and interesting. If you're very familiar with the conversation analytics space and all that fun stuff, uh, you know, go through book 1 and 2 to understand like the capabilities of the platform. But book 3 where we go into these deep dive of really cool things and cool, interesting topics is kind of like where I'm really interested in. But yeah, these are all to-dos, but like look for this in the coming months. So I'm hoping to knock these out pretty quickly, and hopefully, they'll get some feedback from people, and hopefully people find this very useful. And the next section here is just to go over the platform SDK list. That's the supported, semi-supported, and like kind of third party. Then obviously goes into how to reach us, my contact information, how to get support, and like goes into the community support process and all this other fun stuff. Yeah, so this is what the Symbl community repo is all about. Like I said, at the top of here, this is how you can get in contact with the Google group, find out how to attend these meetings when they occur, access the calendar, access the agenda notes, so you can put your topics in there, so you can participate and, obviously bring questions and all that fun stuff. It doesn't have to be super formal. If you're running into code where you might not understand what's going on, bring that, and I will be glad to help in any way that I can. And so, yeah, so going back to the agenda here and the updates and curated content, we already went through this community repo, kind of gave you the breakdown of everything that's there. If you have any topics that you would be interested in hearing about in the next month's meeting, please drop me a line, whether it's in Slack or an email, anything like that. Yeah, give me any topics that you might be interested in hearing about for the next meeting. And with that, I am going to conclude this meeting. And I hope that everyone who might be watching here on YouTube, if you are interested in participating, definitely stop by this community repo that which is at github.com/Symbl.ai/community. You can add the calendar invites to your Google Calendar, and then they obviously contain the Zoom link so you can attend live next time and bring your questions and topics. Thanks. I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you next month.